Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. How are we doing today? I'm going to take it a little easy, a little mellow cast for you today. We'll see, though. I might get excited. We'll see what happens. It's nice and early. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully you guys are going to spend some time enjoying and watching the Super Bowl. That'd be nice, huh? That'd be fancy. What do I have for you today before the Super Bowl, though? Well, we've got a nice little game here between MaNa, our Protoss player, and the orange player here is Mondragon. First time I saw his name, I thought it was Mondragon. This was quite some time ago. He's pretty well known. I've watched a lot of his games, cast a lot of games. He is a good player, but yeah, I thought it was Mondragon. I said, why would you name yourself after a sickly dragon? That seems like a bad idea. Although I guess even a sick dragon would still be a force to be reckoned with. I don't care what the state of the dragon is. Dragon is not something that I would want to encounter. So yeah, nice little morning here. I got a busy day before the Super Bowl. Got a lot of StarCraft lessons that I'll be doing today. A lot of people, a lot of my students requested lessons today, so I'll be good doing some of that. And then watching the Super Bowl. Have my nice little what do I got here? A nice little chai latte, and yeah, game of StarCraft. So here we go. Let's talk about the action here. We do have MaNa moving around inside of Mondragon's base, and Mondragon. I gotta stop calling him Mondragon. Not too thrilled about that either. He's not too thrilled about the fact that this probe is moving here. Found him very quickly. So he knows, of course, he's going to be checking for that fast expansion, wants to see exactly what's going on. Now, inside of MaNa's base, we do have very standard stuff, of course. Don't expect much of anything. Here we go. We can see that drone moving in here, and he's going to see nothing but the standard as well. Should be seeing an assimilator dropped right about now. There we go. So MaNa dropping that assimilator. Again, as always with these games, haven't really taken a look at these prior. Extractor just came up. Also just dropped that pool at 14. So looks like he went extractor first and then pool after that. And this is going to let him get 100 Vespene by the time that spawning pool is finished. So he's going to be able to research that metabolic boost right away if that's what he chooses to do, if that's what he so desires. Nice little evasive maneuvering there with that drone, getting him away from that full surround. And he's going to take out this probe. My gosh, good job there. I'm impressed by that. See, already exciting stuff's happening. Mondragon managed to take out MaNa's probe. I'm surprised that MaNa let that happen. He was obviously not paying enough attention to what was going on over here. I think he was microing around his probe over here and managed to miss that. It's pretty unfortunate, of course. Now, can see at this point Mondragon is still on one base, hasn't expanded yet. Might be seeing expansion sometime somewhere in the vicinity of a 20 supply or so. That's what we tend to see there. Going to be trying to harass this drone here. Not going to manage to take him out though. We do have that Queen and Zerglin coming out, metabolic boost, researching right now as well, and then pulling all of the drones off the line. So I am fully expecting an expansion now, pulling all of the drones off of that extractor. He got just enough gas to get that spawning pool, researching that metabolic boost, and now he's going to be trying to go for that expansion. Now that he has Zerglings coming out too, he can safely expand without having to worry about a pylon being dropped there and getting in the way, basically. Now over here in MaNa's base, again, very standard stuff. We do see that assimilator. Let's take a look at that unit counting station right there. So we can see a little bit ahead in the probe count there. So MaNa has that slight economic advantage at the moment. Take a look at that income tab. I was apparently sadly mistaken. No, he still does, because we can see that no gas coming here from Mondragon. Again, that was because he wants to get the hatchery down as quickly as possible. Now, first queen is out right now. Is he coming out with the second queen? No, not quite yet. Might be coming out with the second queen. Not sure. We'll see what he intends on doing. That is obviously would be a wise decision. He does want a second queen for this hatchery over here. That wouldn't be the worst idea. Moving forward with these Zerglings, going to be doing some harassment here of this gateway. And yeah, just trying to do some damage. Obviously, now the Zealot doesn't want to move, because if he leaves there, then we're going to have the Zerglin run right into the base, and he's going to be able to get a scout of exactly what's going on. We can see the Stargate right now. So again, MaNa getting up that sentry that's going to deny that Zergling push there. So it doesn't really have to worry about that anymore. Obviously, now that's the kind of the point there. Mondragon did want to see exactly what MaNa was going for, and you can see here going for that Stargate. So probably going to be getting out of Void Ray early on, trying to do some harassment. That's what I would expect here. Second queen just about finished there, so going to be moving down to the expansion. Going to be able to saturate that. Also transferring some of those drones down to the expansion as well. Try to evenly distribute the gathering at both places, so one place doesn't mine out before the other. Good job denying that probe scout there as well. Lots of Zerglings moving forward. So excellent work there by Mondragon. Now again, Mondragon is probably going to try to push up here and try to get what he can for vision. He's obviously aware of the fact that no expansion is going down, so he does have to worry about an aggressive early push from MaNa because of the fact that he's still on one base. That's basically what you can expect, and as such, you can see here coming down with these spine crawlers, also moving down that queen over there, so he's got an additional queen. Now this is actually really good news right now for Mondragon, because having this is going to allow him to kind of deal with that Void Ray a little bit better. And no, it's not a Void Ray, it is in fact a Phoenix, so one Phoenix is out, second Phoenix on the way. This could be actually even a little bit more problematic for Mondragon because of he does have these overlords. There's one spread out over here, one over here, and as long as MaNa manages to find where they are, they're dead in the water. You know what I mean? I mean, these Phoenix are gonna have no problem taking out those overlords. There's no means of retaliation from Mondragon's units. Again, these queens, multiple queens are gonna be able to fend off Phoenixes, but I don't know, he may even want one more, because what's going to happen is we're going to be seeing this graviton being come into use. Going to be picking up the queens, picking them off, and then moving on, basically. That's the idea there. So moving forward, and here we go, picking up the queen, going to start doing some damage to it. As long as he can keep these phoenixes over here away from the damage of this queen. Now we can see this one phoenix being dropped down very low, so he doesn't want to move it out of the range. Second queen moving down, might be able to pick off that phoenix, but no, getting the phoenix away just in time. So he did manage to take out one queen. He's going to pull back right now, going to leave that damage phoenix in the back, maybe let it recharge his shield before it pushes forward. And there we go, lifting up the queen, attacking, doing some damage. Do have these Zerglings hanging out right outside of MaNa's base, but they're not going to be able to do much of anything because of that wall off. And now that the shield's recharged, moving forward again, and going to be picking up and again trying to do as much damage as possible. He actually didn't end up taking out that queen, so that's a little unfortunate there for him. He does want to lift it up and take out the queen. Kind of low on energy, very low on health over here with these two phoenixes, but doing a great job of microing them away from the queens, keeping them alive, and again keeping the damage phoenixes in the back. Now because of that opportunity, Mondragon has been able to move in the overlord inside of his base to see exactly what's going on. He can obviously see these phoenixes. He's obviously well aware of phoenix heavy play right now, obviously, right? That's not much of a question. Now at this point the problem is that Mondragon needs to do something to respond. He just can't keep trying to defend against this. He's obviously, this is a big battle of attrition here. He's obviously losing this fight at this point. So he needs to find some way of doing damage to MaNa. Now we can't see MaNa coming out here with this expansion. Now he is aware of that. He does have this Zergling right here. So MaNa trying to come out with the expansion, but Zergling actually end up denying that. But huge problems right here. You know, supply blocks. That's obviously one of the biggest issues right there. You can see 28 possible, and he's sitting on 49. So he's lost a lot of overlords to this Phoenix heavy play. Now Phoenix heavy play is very strong against Zerg. The one issue, of course, is he obviously now Mondragon has a strong ground force in comparison to MaNa, because MaNa spent so much in these phoenixes, but you can't break through this front wall if the Protoss player is paying enough attention, so you need some other means of getting in. Possibility of things like a roach push, but even roaches, because you'll be so small in the roach count, heavy phoenixes will be able to lift them off and pick them off, so it's kind of a tough situation. Again, he needs to do one of two things. He needs to either do a better job of defending his queens, we can see here some spore crawlers going to allow him to do that, or he needs to find some way of pushing it in the base. He needs to do something. So trying to move up the Zerglings, does manage to get a few, and actually manages to sneak through there. Force field going down a little bit late, so there are a few Zerglings in the main base there. Now these Zerglings are actually going to get chopped up pretty quickly from all of these Zealots, but no, they are surviving just because of pure numbers. Moving right in the mineral line, managed to do a ton of damage right there. Very, very good job by Mondragon. Excellent work there. And a few more Zerglings running in. Going to try to go to that economic damage, pushing straight to those probes, trying to do as much damage as possible. We can see, though, the MaNa did manage to fend that off, so good job there by MaNa. He did take a bit of losses. I'm actually really surprised that he managed to squeeze those Zerglings into the base there. MaNa, again, a little miscue there, and more Zerglings running into the base. Going to be doing some more economic damage. We can see now finally coming out, getting ready for that transition into Hydralisk, and that's a really good spot right now, because once Hydralisk hit the board, as long as he can get the numbers high enough, he's going to be able to take out those Phoenixes very, very quickly, and just being constantly annoying right now to MaNa into the economy, taking out those probes as much as possible, doing a lot of damage. Just take a look at that unit count station. So we can see about evened up the numbers, but it's still, he's taken pretty heavy losses thus far. Those Zerglings at the very least stopped him from mining for quite some time, and that's obviously not the best situation for MaNa. So great job there by Mondragon. Fairly well defended from any sort of a push right now. We can see those spore crawlers definitely going to help a ton against those Phoenixes now. So at this point, MaNa definitely has to transition into a ground heavy force. We can see these 5 gateways up. Gonna have a little bit of trouble supporting that. I mean, taking a look at his economy right now, you can see very, very low on the resources. Obviously can't support 5 gateways at this point. He was counting on that expansion being up, but clearly that didn't happen because of that Zergling heavy push. So, I mean, excellent response here by Mondragon. I'm pretty impressed. Phoenix harass can be very difficult and very obnoxious to deal with. Having these Zerglings spread out over here, getting ready for the possibility of a counterattack if he sees a push coming. The idea here is that if he keeps his Zerglings up top and he sees a push coming, he can run in the base, but actually going to be re-rallying his forces and just going for a straight heavy push, and actually moving forward the spine crawlers as well, so they're going to be lifting them up and pushing them forward. Definitely a very aggressive stance right now from Mondragon. He wants to deny this expansion. If he can keep MaNa still on one base, then he's going to win the game. He's going to win the economic war here. Moving forward with the Hydralisk, does he have enough to deal with those Phoenixes? I think he may, if he can keep them in the background, keep them safe and away from those Zealots and Sentries, and he is going to deny this expansion. This is a very, very good spot for Mondragon, but a very, very difficult situation right now for MaNa. Still on one base, going for this Phoenix heavy play made it very difficult for him to expand, and as such, you can see that's going to start to take its toll right here. Very dwindling resources right now, and he's really not able to push out with these Phoenixes anymore. They've pretty much been rendered ineffective at this point. Obviously, from this point forward, Mondragon's going to keep all of his overlords in his base, nice, safe, tucked away, hidden in between these spore crawlers. So the Phoenixes aren't nearly as effective, and with those spore crawlers as well, he's not going to be able to harass those queens nearly as much anymore. So at this point, what Mondragon wants to do is he just kind of wants to keep his opponent from expanding. You can see doing what he should be, checking these expansions. Would like to see him check over here as well. I mean, obviously it's not as likely, but there's a possibility there could be an expansion over here for MaNa, and that's obviously not what he wants. So trying to keep him contained on one base is exactly what Mondragon's trying to do, and he's doing a great job of that. We can see that Roach upgrade coming in right now. Going to be getting that Roach speed, so going to be pushing out with a few Roaches as well, adding that, supplementing his mix here, or adding to the mix between Zerglings and Hydralisks. Throwing some Roaches in there is going to help against this Gateway heavy army. And we are seeing a transition right now for MaNa. He's going to be moving into robotics tech, going to be getting out of Colossus right now, and that's precisely what he wants to do. Now, there's a window right now for Mondragon. If Mondragon can push before that Colossus out, he's going to be in a very good situation. But even with that said, again, the fact that MaNa is on one base, it puts him in a bind. You know, he's not going to be able to support Colossus for very long. Look at how very low these resources are. Now, we haven't seen any more expansions from Mondragon. A little bit surprised because he could very easily expand at this point. As long as he managed to bring some spore colors over, he wouldn't have the worst time expanding, especially with all these Hydralisks helping defend against this Phoenix harassment from MaNa. He would be okay. Now, we are seeing that Colossus just about finished right now, so if anyone's going to make a move, it's going to want to be MaNa, and he's going to want to do it soon. He's going to be in a very tough spot. Spinecrawler's moving forward, using that Overseer to try to get vision, but no, lots of Stalkers going to deny that. Hydra's moving forward to push back the Stalkers, but here comes that Colossus right now, so this is definitely going to be a pretty big engagement right here. Depending on how this battle plays out, it's going to be pretty decisive as to what goes on in this battle. Now, going to be poking at the Cybernetics core. If he can take that out, he's going to be in a very good spot, because MaNa will only be able to produce Zealots out of these gateways, out of these warp gates, and obviously he wants to be able to produce more than Zealots, and he's just going to let it drop. Are you serious? I want to see him push forward and try to do some damage, but no, it looks like he's just going to let that Cybernetics core drop. So deciding engaging at that point was not worth the trouble. He was in fact waiting for the second Colossus here, and then he's going to have to push sometime soon. We can see move forward with these Spine Crawlers, and here we go right now. MaNa pushing forward against Mondragon now. Going to be trying to take down the Spine Crawlers first. We are seeing these Phoenixes doing some Graviton beam, picking up some of the Roaches. He does want to try to keep these Colossus back. One Colossus very, very low. Move forward with some Banelings as well. Colossus in the back does get sniped. The next target is going to be this big Colossus over here. If he can take it down, he's going to be in a really good spot. Still getting some of his units roasted. Stalkers having free reign of firing there on the units. Colossus moving out in a very dangerous spot right now, and they does manage to get, yes he does, he gets picked down, and right now it is just going to be these Roaches and Hydras against this Stalkers, this Gateway heavy army, and this is not the best situation right now for MaNa. Obviously, Roach is going to do very well against these Gateway units. If he can micro away from those Zealots as well, that of course would help too. Lifting up these Hydralisks here, that's going to help his cause just a little bit, but as soon as those Hydralisks drop down, he's going to be in a tough spot. We are seeing some reinforcements come over here as well for Mondragon, so Mondragon going to be continuing this push right now, wants to push right into MaNa's base. MaNa's so very low on the resources, he can't really afford reinforcements right now, and this is a very tough situation for him, and MaNa does call good game. So nice game between these two players. You know, we started off with that opening Phoenix harassment from MaNa, and as we talked about, as we discussed, and as we saw, very, very effective as Protoss against Zerg. The big problem there, though, for him was, of course, the fact that Mondragon did respond with some aggressive play and contained him and kept him on one base, and obviously this creep spread helps deny expansion as well, but the very fact that he managed to keep him on one base for so long is exactly where MaNa went wrong, essentially. It's the issue that caused MaNa to lose the game. You can see, again, very dwindling resources here. He wasn't even able to expand at this point in the game. If I hit that back button for just one moment, it jumps us back about 10 seconds, and taking a look right at MaNa, you can see very, very low resources. He couldn't manage to expand and still defend himself against Mondragon, so this is a problem. This is something that, you know, I always go back to, and something I talk to my students a lot about too when it comes to this game of StarCraft, you know, the game we're watching here, the game we talk about, the game we all love to play. Something that's really important to realize is how much of a game of economy it is. The person with the stronger economy is the person who can afford the larger army. It's a person who can afford the upgrades, and it's a person who ultimately is likely to win the game. If you stay on one base much longer than your opponent who does have two bases, then you're going to fall very far behind, and it's literally, you can't afford a large enough army to defend against them. That's what it is. It's a game of numbers, really. If you're on one base and your opponent's on two for too long, you're just in kind of a shitty situation, and that's exactly what we saw in this game for MaNa. Again, the Phoenix Harass was great, but without being able to expand because he didn't have sufficient ground troops to fend off the harassment from Mondragon, he just ended up losing the game because he didn't have enough resources. So plain and simple, again, good game between these two players. Now, this is a series of games, so I'm going to be casting the rest of the series for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So as always, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, please. Appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up on all my videos. That helps a lot too. And as always, keep watching and keep owning. So what I want to say is that it's going to be coming back. The idea is still there, obviously, and I would like to continue producing it. So I want to let you know it's going to come back eventually. I also want to touch on strategy videos. I did say in a prior video, I believe it was a video I released yesterday, that I would be coming out more strategy videos within the next 2 days. So today would be day 1 of the 2 days, and that will be happening. So if you don't see them later tonight, you will be seeing 3 new strategy videos tomorrow. So if that's something that you prefer, then just keep an eye out for that, because it will be coming. Now, expansion is up right now. We can see, of course, Mondragon did go for that expansion as expected. Just wanted to get that early spawning pool for that early defense. Actually decided not to get that metabolic boost and not getting it until just about now. So he was a little bit over there on the Vespian. He let it sit a little bit longer than necessary. You might be losing this Overlord here to the Stalker Fire if he doesn't move it out of the range there. I think he might be okay. Yes, he is. He does manage to get it just out of the range, so Stalker not able to kill it. I think he might be moseying all around, though, to the opposite side to try to take it off. But the Overlord's going to feel pretty safe if he moves down right in this direction. Now let's take a look at the bases here to see what's going on. We are seeing a Twilight Council come out. So what can we expect? Well, there's lots of opportunities. He could be going for something.